welcome back to the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli with myself, Matt Dunn, Neil Morrison alongside me, Fran Wild down on the grid and in pit lane. And this is it, ladies and gents. It is the end of the Energica era in the MotoE World Cup. We've had great seasons with them since 2019, but the dawn of a new season awaits next year, of a new era I should say, awaits next year in 2023 as Ducati enter the fray. One more race to go. Who will take those final honours? The last Energica MotoE win. This is the rider that took the final World Cup though, Dominique Aegerter. But I tell you what, as he says happy birthday to Don Marco number 7, it's probably quite fitting we actually sign off the Energica era in fine style and hear from none other than the MotoE director himself, Nicola Goubert, about his thoughts on the series so far.
Yes, exactly. So, Nicola, down here on the final grid that will feature the Energica Ego Corsa, just wanted to get your thoughts on the first 4 years, because it's been an incredible success, great reliability, and incredible racing more than anything.
Yes, as you said, I mean, for me, there are two remarkable points. The first one is that the show has been incredible, you know, of course, with the help of riders. But I think we have proved that the electric racing was as entertaining as any other type of motorcycle racing, with fights, you know, very, very tight up to the last corner or the finish line. And then the second thing is the reliability of the Energica. I mean, we chose Energica 4 years ago because they had the best sports bike on the marketplace, and we thought these guys should know how to produce reliable bikes, and they proved it. You know, believe it or not, but in 4 years' time, with 18 riders on the grid every time, only one of them had a mechanical trouble, and it was 2 weeks ago. So chapeau for all the work they've done and everything they've done with us.
Yeah, it's been incredible. And the batteries, of course, the power being consistent, that was a big concern. So, yeah, thank you very much for talking to us, and ciao for now, Energica.
Yeah, and
I mean, I'm really convinced the race is going to be great again. Yesterday we had a good show. Unfortunately, the Eric Granado crashed, so we know who is the champion, but there are many riders who wants to win that race, and for sure they will put up a great show.
Yeah, I'm very sure too. Thanks a lot, Nicola. Sorry there, he wanted to carry on with a look ahead to the race, so great stuff.
Hey, he's doing our job for us, Fran, and I appreciate it all the same. Nicola Goubert, one of those characters in life that make you feel incredibly inadequate. The man fluent in English, French, of course, Italian, Spanish, and Japanese, no less, Neil. He is absolutely tremendous. So I tell you what, we will head back down to the grid as well, though, because we can hear from our MotoE World Cup winner overall in 2022 as well. Ahead of this final race, Fran is with the man himself, Dominique Aegerter.
I am, and I said, Dommy, it's a simple question for you, not too emotional, nothing too much about the title either. Hangover or no hangover?
No hangover. But tomorrow we will have, but I'm a professional rider, so today we have still a job to do, and I want to do a good last race for the Dino World Intag GP MotoE team, and yeah, perfect weather, and how you want to make a race when you have the championship already decided, so it will be fun, different pressure, and yeah, wish me luck and full gas.
It will be. I can see Jürgen already smiling at you there in the background as well. Best of luck, Dommy.
Thank you very much.
Professional to the very end, Dominique Aegerter. Neil Morrison, hello. How are you? Excited for this one then?
I'm excited, Matt, yeah. Although the championship has been decided, or the World Cup has been decided for yesterday, or after yesterday's event, I do expect everyone just to kind of go out there and race today. You could see maybe one or two riders behind Dominique Aegerter didn't want to upset the apple cart, do something a little untoward that might have an effect on the championship, but none of those worries today. I think we're going to have a straight shooter and maybe 4 or 5 guys fighting for victory like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, cannot wait for that then. So 5 minutes to go before we are racing in MotoE for the final time in 2022. So a little review of what happened yesterday. We had, of course, Mattia Casadei taking the victory ahead of Dominique Aegerter, only just. Aegerter bringing it home, basically, because Eric Granado unfortunately crashed out down at turn 15. curtailing his chances of taking the title. That was a real shame for him. It was Ferrari, though, the magician of Misano, which rounded out the podium. It was so tense, though, Neil. What a cracking victory that was for Casadei. Fran?
Just add something there. The beautiful Gresini livery is also on the MotoE machine.
Oh, is it?
So absolute thrill. Matteo was just putting on his helmet and I went, oh, it's so pretty. Didn't manage to actually catch him and talk to him about it with the timing, but yeah, it looks so nice.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I hope we can get a good look at that then. Here's Kevin Zanoni, no less, though. He's the Italian rider, Seek 58 Onghetta Squadra Course team. He will start actually further down on the grid than he would have liked, in 10th spot. Yesterday he finished in 11th place behind Hector Garzo. You can just about see the Gresini livery in the middle of our shot there, though, Neil.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Hikaru Okubo on 11th on the grid. He'll be looking to come through, make one of his trademark comebacks that we've seen so many times this year. He finished 7th yesterday, gained 4 positions. As we see, the grid is being cleared away. Fans still sticking around to see the final race of today. And what a race it's going to be. 8 laps once again for the final MotoE encounter of 2022.
There's the flying mustache of Kevin Manfredi. He starts down in 12th position on the grid. He moved up to 8th place yesterday, come the checker flag. That was a good result from him. Of course, we also had outgoing World Cup winner Jordi Torres finishing 4th. We saw him at the top of the show earlier on. Yesterday, Alex Escrij, the rookie, did rather well in 5th place as well. We also saw Nicola Canepa in 6th place too. Must admit, I was not expecting that. We normally get our lovely stabilised shot on the front row of the grid, but apparently we're not into that anymore. So here's Dominique Aegerter starting from pole position here today, ahead of Mattia Casadei and Jordi Torres. Eric Granado is the second row from Matteo Ferrari and Mikel Pons. It'd be great to see Eric take maybe the final victory of the year, albeit too little too late in terms of the World Cup. That would be great to see nonetheless. Canepa takes the stage from on the third row of the grid from Escrij and Cardalus, while Zanoni, Okubo and Manfredi are row 4. Row 5 is Garzo, who actually had a pretty decent race yesterday, up into 10th place. He was ahead of Forres and Maria Herrera. Bradley Smith, the hero of yesterday, 12th position from 16th. Walking wounded he is from the race in Austria. He starts 16th ahead of Alessio Finello in 17th and Mark Alcoba in 18th. Dominique Aegerter just does his final stretches then. And Neil, with the pressure all off then, who do we think is going to be getting this victory here today?
Oh, I think you can choose one of any of the top 5 in the grid. Aegerter, Casadei, Torres, Granado and Ferrari were the men fighting at the front yesterday. I don't see any reason why we won't see something similar today. But I'm going to go with Granado. Shackles off, just going for the victory. Let's see what he can do from 4th on the grid.
I'm going to go for a Casadei double. I saw him this morning and asked how he was. A nice chill night. He did indeed have a very nice chill evening with his girlfriend. He's ready for racing here today.
Bit of meditation.
But his whole natural being is meditation. He's a walking meditative state, isn't he? Brilliant stuff. So, 1 minute to go before we are racing in MotoE then, and whilst the tension will mount, everybody gets a little bit nerves and jitters. For Dominique Aegerter, you can see there, he'll be a lot calmer than he was yesterday. His job is done. He's MotoE World Cup winner. He now has to think about other things after this race, going on to try and take the World Supersport title. And then what about Casadei or Granado in the background of this shot as well? They would make a worthy winners of today's race too. Well then, of course, it is worth also noting that after yesterday, we do actually have some more, well, it's closer in terms of the championship standings as well between Casadei and Ferrari. So 3rd place well and truly up for grabs, 1.5 points there too. So maybe the magician of Misano, Matteo Ferrari, will go back towards the top of the box. Right then, no warm-up lap, no revs up. It's just breaking the silence once more in the Energica era of the MotoE World Cup. There is your outgoing World Cup winner. The red flag departs off the grid. The lights will come on and we will be racing in MotoE for the final time this year. Here we go. It is a great start from Mattia Casadei, not neck and neck like he was with Dominique Aegerter yesterday. Torres looking up the inside. Granado slots into 3rd. A cracking start, I think, from Alex Escrij there into 5th spot, with Torres just ahead of him in 4th. But once again, it's whole shot to Casadei.
Casadei, the best starter on the grid by some distance this year, and it's a bad first couple of corners for Matteo Ferrari. He's been pushed back to 7th. He makes up 2 positions down into turn 4 with an excellent move to get by both Iskridge and Mikel Pons, who manages not to high-side it out of turn 2 like he did yesterday. They fan into line going down towards turn 8.
All cleanly through in that first sector then, and it's, well, Casadei off like a scolded cat. There he goes, a few bike lengths between him and this year's World Cup winner Eric Granado on the chase as well. That beautiful livery for Matteo Ferrari there in 5th place. Jordi Torres though in his sights.
Haven't we been here before, Matt? I'm pretty sure this is how the start of yesterday's race panned out, with Casadei, Aegerter and Granado getting the whole shot ahead of the rest. Jordi Torres looking decent in 4th, but Torres needs to get his act together here, because the top 3 already, as you can see, have a considerable advantage. The Spaniard finds himself 0.6 down on Granado.
Through Curvone they come then. Torres versus Ferrari, 2 of the other only World Cup overall winners in the Energica era of the series then. But it's Aegerter looking up to go up the inside perhaps of Casadei in a few corners time, as Ferrari got a bit too close for comfort there with Torres. Eric Granado just slightly being dropped.
You'd have to say, by Dominique Aegerter's standards this year, this has actually been a really good first lap for him to be within half a second of the leader in 2nd place. I think the Swiss rider would take that, because usually he's dropped back to 3rd, 4th or 5th place and then had to mount the recovery in the second part of the race.
Yeah, absolutely then. So across the line they come for the first time of asking. It's Casadei from Aegerter, Granado and Torres, Ferrari in 5th. Pons, well, the top 6 are separated by 2.2 seconds. You've got Canepa just behind him as well. It's all to play for though out front. Aegerter has closed in on Casadei then. He's not getting away with it. What can Granado do? Can he respond? Is he over the heartbreak yet? He won't be for some time, I suspect, but he can put it aside enough to try and get this final race win of 2022.
Casadei is something of a Jorge Lorenzo about him on these opening laps. Aegerter was the only man who could be within 1 second of him after the first lap of racing here, and you can see the Swiss rider is now less than 0.2 of a second behind the Italian as they come up to Tramonto.
This is where we saw what was to be the Championship World Cup winning overtake from Aegerter on Granado. Essentially, it was thereafter that Eric became a bit flustered and unfortunately crashed out at turn 15, much to the entire nation of Brazil's heartbreak. Through Curvone they come for the 2nd time again. The Rossi flag still waving then. Casadei, how much would he love to do the double on home turf? This is where I think we saw his first podium in MotoE a couple of years ago now with the Seek 58 squad. He's since moved to the Pons 40 squad, doing rather well. Well, sufficient improvement in this final year of the Energica era.
Needless to say, this would see Casadei climb to 3rd in the standings, which would be a decent return for what has been a really solid championship from him, you have to say, leading and qualifying on the front row nearly at every race. Yeah, every race bar 1 so far this year for the number 27. He comes across the line, although he is under some serious pressure now from Dominique Aegerter, the fastest lap of the race, and the fastest lap by 0.2 of a second, as you can see.
The only rider in this race so far to put in a 1:42. Yes, the best race lap from last year was 1:42.6 from Aegerter himself. The pace is absolutely red hot, just like the weather here this afternoon. It is significantly hotter than it was this time yesterday. It's really quite pleasurable to be in an air-conditioned commentary box, I must say.
Yeah, let's see what Granado can do. He was 9/10 off Aegerter at the end of lap 2. You can see he has taken 0.3 of a second off the Swiss rider in the first sector, and sideways starting to turn in, typical Eric Granado style.
Brilliant stuff that. It got a bit of Dennis Onju about him. If you haven't watched the Moto3 race earlier, watch it just for that final lap with Dennis Onju getting completely sideways, flat track and speedway style into there. As good as a MotoE bike, you might say, as they come onto the back straight once more. Curvone is up next, the ultra-fast right-hander. His MotoE bikes just chew it up. I mean, the speed they come through here is just absolutely awesome. Aegerter tips it in, chasing Casadei all the way. Is that Ferrari in the background making a move on Torres? I think it could well be.
Yeah, and can we see a move from Aegerter here? You see he favours the wide line, and yes, Ferrari has got past Torres. He clearly has a bit better rhythm than the outgoing MotoE World Cup winner. And can he now bridge that 8-10 deficit to Eric Granado in 3rd?
Tell you what, not for the faint-hearted, a move through Curvone on a MotoE bike, or any bike for that matter. That was absolutely awesome from Ferrari. Would love to have seen that properly live, but just got a glimpse of it out the corner of the screen. There they are then. The other 2 World Cup winners, the outgoing previous World Cup winners. here they are then. So Ferrari fastest lap of the race now, another 1:42.9. We're on to lap 4 of 8.
Yeah, and Granado was pretty much posting the exact same time as Ferrari on that last lap. He was in the 1:42s as well, a couple of tenths faster than both of the leading men. So Granado, you can see visually, he's just a little bit closer. He gets a bit squirrely coming out of turn 4, transitioning through turn 5. The number 51 has got his hooks in on the number 77.
Yeah, closing in, got himself settled, has Granado now then, so will he be able to catch up on them as Aegerter is swarming all over the back of Mattia Casadei's bike now. The pressure is really on if he wants to do the double here on home turf in Misano.
Yeah, he's never had a double victory, has Casadei, just 2 victories to his name this year. Probably should have been more, considering he has led so many laps of the World Cup this year. Granado, seen his progress, just halted ever so slightly. Aegerter has looked really good into Carboni. He favours that wide line.
Ooh, wow.
Does he cut it back to the inside here?
Oh, the way he cuts through there and just chooses a different line, swarming all over the back of Casadei. That is just awesome to watch, isn't it? And I think Aegerter as well, just notice he's wearing his World Cup winning lid. He's got the gold on it instead of the usual yellow to celebrate that victory. Great to see as well the fans staying around, watching the final MotoE race of the Energica era before they make way for Ducati next year.
Casadei using all of the curb and then some. Exiting turn 15, he needs to be careful, be aware of the track limits. Of course, you only have, well, 2 hits and you're out basically in this MotoE category. You can see Ferrari now coming under some pressure from Torres there in 5th, and Mikel Pons cannot really seem to shake Nicolo Canepa in the fight for 6th.
No, not at all, but it's good good showing from Pons then, considering what happened yesterday. A pretty fast crash straight out at turn 2. His wingman duties were over before they even really started for him to go and help Aegerter. It's just a bit of a twitch there for Jordi Torres on the back of Matteo Ferrari. Then onto the back straight they come once more, technically through turn 7 now, even though they are completely bolt upright.
Yeah, absolutely, and Torres is having a sniff down into turn 8 into Quercia. Can't quite make it. He was the fastest man on track last time around, was the number 40, Jordi Torres. Wants to get on the podium for the first time this year. Just missed out yesterday, but those guys have quite a job on their hands if they want to get up towards Eric Granado, who is making stealthy progress towards the front. He's taken a 10th here, a 10th there. You can see that gap is down to half a second basically to Dominique Aegerter in 2nd.
We could be building up to a grandstand finish, an awesome one to end this era of MotoE. Then through the other right-handers they come, they're just so fast through there. Aegerter, it's just brilliant to watch how he sort of plays all over the back of Casadei, and up the inside he goes, then sits him up perfectly. Wow, mirror signal maneuver, parks it in the middle, beautiful stuff, cuts back across him to counteract any sort of counter-attack from Casadei there. Brilliant stuff from Aegerter. He's taken the lead, but that sort of move has allowed Granado to catch right back on. What will the gap be as they come across the line to mark down 3 laps to go?
Yeah, super stuff there from Dominique Aegerter. Clean as you like at turn 14. And yeah, he wants to go out, sign off this MotoE campaign with a victory, another victory to add to the haul that he's already had this year. You do feel though that Casadei will not take this lion down, Matt.
No, he is the last of the late breakers, and this is a great opportunity for an overtake here into turn 4. He thinks better of it this time around, and with that move though they have let Eric Granado catch in. They are now 0.4 of a second ahead of the Brazilian, who will be hungry for a final victory to prove a bit of a point as we close out 2022. Back down the straight they come. Casadei pulls out of the slipstream then. They're side by side in towards turn 8. He breaks it down. He's into the lead once again then, is the 27.
This is absolutely perfect for Eric Granado, Matteo Ferrari and Jordi Torres behind. These two fighting among each other up front, and just like yesterday, Casadei so strong on the brakes down into Quercia, made that look so simple. But you do feel that Aegerter has got something over the number 27 through the fast rights at the end of this back straight and into turn 14.
Eric Granado just catching them up there, isn't he? Even more so than previous. Through Carbone they come once again, then tipping it in right now. The 51 is right on the back of the 77. Half a tenth here, half a tenth there, sector by sector with 3 laps to go. I cannot wait for this finale.
Yeah, and he's able to just cut it back there, isn't he? Aegerter, and he has a look again, and that was so close. He clips him, doesn't he?
Goodness me, you can tell the pressure's off with the World Cup, isn't it? It's all about that race win honours now, and that gives Casadei a bit of breathing space, but it makes, well, a lack of breathing space for Aegerter with Granado just behind him. Well, even worse, we got yellow flags in sector 4 then, so I assume someone's gone down at about turn 15.
Yeah, turn 15, turn 14 perhaps. Let's hope that everyone is A-OK, but we have basically 5 riders now, separated by 1.4 seconds. The top 4 separated by 1 second.
Yeah, Maria Herrera's gone down out of the point-scoring finishing place potentially. She's up and walking away, good to see, but a bit of a limp. Hopefully she's okay for a Moto3 wildcard in Aragon.
Yeah, 2 weeks' time we'll be seeing Maria Herrera back in this paddock. A shame for her to buy out this season in such fashion. But let's hope that she's back in the MotoE grid next year.
The thing is, Neil, with all this overtaking and roughing each other up, this is bringing Ferrari, the magician of Misano, back into the fray as well, as they caught right back on Casadei too. Eric Granado getting all squirrely over the back of Aegerter 2 into turn 8 then. So we are really building up with the penultimate lap. A cracker of a final lap of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope that we go out with a bit of a bang here. Maria Herrera's bike has been cleared away. The yellow flags are out of sight, and we no longer have to worry about these guys coming towards that into turn 14. Aegerter has been so strong here through these rides. Can he make another move on Casadei?
This is just MotoE at its very best, ladies and gents. Do not switch off, do not go anywhere, even if you're desperate for a loo break or anything like that. You don't want to miss a single second of the finale of MotoE here. 4 riders, with the victory up for grabs. Ferrari goes up the inside of Granado. I thought he was going to make a move on Aegerter too, but that was brilliant from the Italian then. He is up for the battle for victory here. Will it be yet another win in Misano for Ferrari?
Yeah, super stuff from Casadei defending into turn 14 there, although you wonder whether Aegerter just decided to sit behind him for one more lap and maybe try and points there on the final time around. But Ferrari, no doubt, he is the danger man with just 1 lap to go. 4/10 of a second back at the leader.
It all comes down to this then, as Aegerter, he looks for a move on the inside, but that's it. That's his win over. He's gone from 2nd to 4th place. He is down and out. He asked too much of the front tyre there. He nearly clips the back of Casadei, but Casadei with a bit of breathing space. But for how long now?
Yeah, Aegerter crashed out of one of the races here in 2020 at that very place. He probably thought he was going to have a similar fate just there, but he somehow managed to save that front end slide. Did well to bring it back into 4th.
Time is running out if you want to make that overtake for the win. Ferrari catching up to Casadei then. Did he nail his drive out of turn 6? He's catching him closer and closer. Eric just says speedway style into turn 8 as we love it then.
He does, yeah, as Matteo Ferrari then tries to wind up the wick and close in on the number 27. You have to imagine turn 14, he's not close enough to do it here, Matt. Turn 14 surely is going to be the place that he has it by.
This is it then. Absolutely nail your drive. It's Ferrari versus Casadei on the back straight through Curvone then. He's got to perfect his line right here.
And this is it for 3rd in the championship, of course. These two separated by 1.5 points.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff. What a finale. What more could you ask for in MotoE?
He's going
for it. He's going for it. Neck and neck. Oh, Casadei just want to give it up. They're side by side. Here we are then. Oh, it's as good as you like. Ferrari's done it. He's made the move. Has he defended his line into potentially the last overtaking opportunity? He leads them in towards the penultimate turn. He nails that line safely through it on the exit. Avoid the track limits and Ferrari, the win will be yours. But Casadei, he's going up the inside again. This is it for MotoE. He's run it wide. Ferrari's done it. The magician of Misano is back on form. He takes the win and 3rd place in the series. That is brilliant. What a way to finish up this year and this era of MotoE.
Super stuff from Matteo Ferrari. What a comeback that was. I think he was 7th coming out of turn 2 on the first lap, but he managed to gain ground back up over the 7.5 laps that remained. And what a final lap move that was on Mattia Casadei. Brave as you like through the fast rights at the end of the lap.
Blimey.
No one is better around this Misano World Circuit than him.
No, absolutely. Completely agree with you there, Neil. That's how it's done. That is entertainment. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that entertainment out in MotoE. That's how it's done. And Ferrari, of course, the original World Cup winner as well, the supreme leader consistently in the MotoE World Cup. How fitting is it that he ends this current era of MotoE on top of the pile?
Absolutely. We've had 9 races then at this circuit, Matt, in the history of the MotoE World Cup. Matteo Ferrari has won 6 of them, which is not a bad record at all. He is an absolute specialist at this track, and with that, he takes 3rd in this year's World Cup standings as well. And great to see the two Italians who fought for victory right until the final turn, congratulating each other on the slowdown lap. That was a great great race to finish the year.
Yeah, not just rivals in MotoE, but also in Italian superbikes as well. They know each other's every single trick in the book that the other one has to throw at one another. But Casadei not able to deal with what Ferrari had up his sleeve here today. And Eric Granado, it's still got to hurt, absolutely. It'll still be very much fresh in the memory, in his mind, after yesterday losing the World Cup. But a third place finish for him this year is a cracking job as well. It was sad that yesterday was his first non-score of the entire season, when it unfortunately really mattered most. I do hope, though, we see Eric Granado again next year.
Yeah, the most winning rider in the MotoE World Cup history, the history of this competition. And yeah, it would be a shame to not see him on the grid next year, but let's hope that he'll be back again fighting for honours in 2023. Fran. I thought we heard Fran there, Matt.
Yeah, maybe not.
But
well, we'll be hearing from her in Parc Ferme, no less, won't we? Which will be lovely. So there we go. Celebrations continue for Ferrari. The number 11, that is brilliant stuff. And we'll be hearing the Italian national anthem above the podium in Misano once again, at least. Not the double that Mattia Casadei wanted. But hey, Alu MF11, that will do. That will do.
Yeah, good to see even MotoE riders have their own fan clubs here at Misano, man.
Did he not? He's the magician of Misano, Neil.
I'm glad to say that he's done that that great colour scheme. Right, and here is, this isn't the race-winning overtake, but this is the series of moves that took Ferrari from 4th right the way up to the lead in turn 14. First it was on Granado.
This was the last attempt by Casadei. I mean, I tell you what, brave. He went up the inside there. Not many people do that, and not many people managed to get close enough to even do that as well. But he had to try and ran it too wide, and wow, the rear end twitching all over the place. Sacrificed his drive. He knew at that point it was over. Ferrari at that point knew it was done, and the victory was his.
What a race to sign off the Energica era in the MotoE World Cup, with the top 5 riders being separated by just 1.3 seconds at the end of 8 laps of racing. The race win being decided by just under 0.2 of a second.
Brilliant stuff, and that's what it's about, MotoE. It's never been marketed or pitched as the future of MotoGP. It's an alternative path and just great entertainment, which is why we all love motorcycle racing. Some people love the noise, but at the end of the day, what we want to see is a close finish across the line, a battle of wits and intelligence, hand-eye coordination, and that's what you get in its absolute droves in this absolutely awesome class of two-wheeled racing. There are a few classes better on earth at action than MotoE, that is for certain. Well, into Parc Ferme he comes then. Matteo Ferrari, his team await him, coming in. His arm's going to be knackered tomorrow. From mere delight in MotoGP, you won't get any more spoilers from me than that if you've not watched it. Well, it is total delight for Nadia Padovani, Fausto Grassini's widow, in Parc Ferme, and Eric Granado burning it down as well. That lovely, slightly citrusy smell of burnt, sustainable Michelin rubber. I'm told by Fran it's not so citrusy. I'm just imagining it. I like to think of it given orange and lemon peel are both used to create these MotoE tyres. Oh, disappointed.
Yeah, Casadei does look a bit gutted, doesn't he? After that one, he did give it his everything. Was leading, of course, with what, 4 corners to go. Give it a good go into the final turn once again. But Casadei, the most improved rider in the category for me this year, Matt. Was always a bit erratic before, but you know, without 1 or 2 bad bits of luck, he could have been right up there fighting for the championship in this last race.
Yeah, totally agree. Shame he wasn't able to pull that out consistently in the end, but it takes time. I mean, the amount of track time these guys get, it's all very easy to say, oh, you know, mistakes and inconsistency and this and that, but with the amount of track time they do get, I think they all do supremely well to be as fast as they are. It just goes to show all these riders are absolutely world class. Their adaptation capabilities, I should say, are really almost second to none, particularly the likes of Dominique Aegerter gunning for the World Supersport Championship as well. But as you can see from that view in Parc Ferme, we have this new protocol. Here's Eric Granado and the other riders all down in Parc Ferme. Fran, let's hear about that race.
Well, Eric, congratulations back on the podium. And I think for all of us watching, after such a tough day yesterday, it was also great to see you back heading so sideways at times. Are you happy with that and to sign off on style this season?
Yes, I'm very happy. You know, finally after the bad day I had yesterday, I was really frustrated with myself because we did an amazing season. Like I said yesterday, I did no mistakes during the season, and unfortunately yesterday I had a crash. So I think this podium is for my team, for my sponsors, for all the people watching home. They deserve it, and it's amazing to finish the season with a podium. The first podium for me here in Misano after 4 years, you know. So finally it's a good result for me. I was struggling a little bit with the bike, not the best feeling. I was trying to stay on there, and finally P3. So yes, so happy. And like always in Portuguese, muito feliz com esse pódio depois do dia frustrante que eu tive ontem. Eu estava muito chateado comigo mesmo. Eu não cometi nenhum erro durante toda a temporada. Mantive sempre entre os pontos. Infelizmente ontem acabei caindo. E acho que esse pódio aqui é para toda a minha equipe, todos os patrocinadores, todos aí em casa que estão assistindo e torcendo por mim, que ontem ficaram na expectativa aí. Então é bom terminar o ano com esse pódio. Meu primeiro pódio aqui em Misano depois de 4 anos. Então, muito feliz, mesmo com a moto não estando muito na mão, consegui salvar esse pódio. Então, só tenho a agradecer a todos. Obrigado. E ano que vem tem mais. Valeu.
Parabéns. So, Mattia, I was just saying, I think that might be the best MotoE race finish ever, possibly. There are a few contenders just beaten to the line, and they're really rubbing it in. How do you feel, though, another podium? Is it more disappointment at the moment, or did you enjoy being part of that battle?
Yeah, I'm very happy. But today I won victory and I made second. I'm happy, but not enough, because if I win, I made a third in the championship. But for me, this year, I was very faster. I'm a little bit unlucky. In the first race, Pons put me down. After in Mugello, I have a problem with the rear tire in the first turn. And after try to come back in the championship, I made a mistake in Austria. But I know I'm very happy. I want to say thanks to my team for this year. It's fantastic. See you next year.
Thanks very much, and congrats on the season. It's been great watching you. He's off. It was a little bit difficult, yeah. So, Matteo, I was saying to Mattia, maybe the best MotoE finish ever. Absolutely incredible, right down to the wire. And both of you stayed in track limits as well. But congratulations, how does it feel? And in that beautiful colour scheme today on home soil.
Yeah, at the beginning when I started, I was 5, and they said it's a difficult race because the gap during the first lap was a lot, but I pushed like I don't know, 100%. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, when I arrived in the last lap and I saw the mistake of Aegerter, I said, okay, I have to do this. And when I arrived in Curvone, I just released the brake and closed the eyes and turned, and it was fantastic in front of this fan. Yeah, my 6th victory here in Misano, so I'm really happy about that, and third in the championship again. So yeah, we will see next year. I'll try to do my best and to beat Aegerter.
Well, auguri and thank you for the show.
Ciao.
Yeah, fitting that, and very exciting to hear that I aim to be back next year and to beat Aegerter. Whoa. I would love to see Ferrari back next year.
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? We got 2 scoops there, I think, from Casadei and from Ferrari.
Cracking job, Fran. That's great stuff. Alou! I don't know what is Alou. Is that Italian or is that him? Don't know.
I wish I could tell you.
Yes. Anyways, grazie Mazzano and grazie MotoE. It's been a cracking season, hasn't it? This was then out of the final corner they come. You can see Casadei just, look at him just trying to be as error as possible. Bum up in the air and everything, just doing all he can, but it wasn't enough, sadly. And that's what racing's all about. Absolutely love it. Clean, cracking entertainment that was. And look how happy Ferrari was with it. Great to be watching a final podium here in Misano. Last bit of entertainment for the crowd. They've been treated to a sterling day's racing, haven't they?
Yeah, pretty great race seen across all 4 classes today. MotoE ending the action with further excitement. The victory fight going right the way down to the final corner. And there was a decent bit on the line. You might think these riders don't care that much if they're fighting for third in the championship, but Ferrari and Casadei demonstrating in their interviews with Fran just there that that meant quite a lot.
At the end of the day, they want to win. It's feeding their egos, etc. and that. But there's also overall World Cup standings bonuses, race win bonuses. Like, these guys are making a living here. They're not here for fun. They are. It's very fun. But also here to earn some money.
I think, Casadei and Ferrari as well race each other a lot. So maybe not more to it in a worse way, almost a better way, that it means a lot to beat each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you there, Fran. Yes, the Italian superbikes, if I'm not mistaken, too. So there we go. Thank you very much, obviously, to Fran for all her help this year as well. She'll be departing away, and we await the podium ceremony. Obviously, waiting till the last very moments of the broadcast of 2022 MotoE season to actually all start crumbling down around it. Well then.
Yeah, as Casadei said in his interview, Matt, had he not been taken out of the first race of the year and then had some issues at Mugello, he might not have had to risk so much in that final lap in Austria where he crashed out off the lead. But all of those will have been lessons for him, which he'll take into 2023. You have to imagine if he stays put at Pons, he will be a real contender next year. But great to see this man back on the podium after yesterday's disappointment. Eric Granado didn't quite manage to take the crown for the first time this weekend, but he comes away with his first podium at Misano.
This year or ever?
Ever.
Ever, goodness me. So it really is his bogey circuit then, Granado. Not so for Casadei though, and definitely not for the magician of Misano. Matteo Ferrari, out he comes to the roar of his team and the remaining crowd. Italy victorious here at Misano for the second time this weekend in MotoE. No more spoilers for Moto3, Moto2, MotoGP. So trophies getting handed out then. For the final time in 2022, third place it goes to Eric Granado from Ricardo Amoroso from NLX Way.
And Granado, from 12 races, scored 8 podiums. I mean, that's pretty impressive consistency, isn't it? 5 wins in that time as well, and still it wasn't quite enough for the victory.
Livia Cevellini, Energica Motor Company CEO, the woman who made it all happen in some ways, in many respects, you know. Head of supplying all the bikes for MotoE the last 4 seasons. Oh, what a job they have done. The race-winning trophy to Matteo Ferrari. Oh, he's got a glove on, isn't he? And Ricardo Amoroso's back. Head of Global Marketing and Sales at NLX Way. And Ferrari lifts the trophy. And you can tell how much they all mean to him. That is really, really great to see. And I've no doubt he'll be back with the Cassini squad next year once again. Awesome. There is little like the Italian national anthem in Italy, and then here at Misano as well, with the magician of Misano on top of the podium too. How awesome is that then?